A wide range of artifacts survives from the period described in history by Herodotus. They range from coins, pottery, and sculpture to paintings and manuscripts can reveal much about the society and culture of that time. One of the most famous historical artifacts is the Parthenon marbles. These were some of the most famous pieces of ancient Greek sculpture that were removed from the Acropolis in Athens in the early 19th century and are now on display in the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. The next artifact is the Rosetta Stone, which provided the key to deciphering ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, and the Gates of Ishtar, which were a series of statues found in the Babylonian ruins and showed the role of women in Babylonian society, was a Greek pot of that was discovered by archaeologists in a Roman villa in Greece, and now it's also in British Museum in London. The Rosetta Stone is one of the most famous historical artifacts from the period of the Greek Empire. It was discovered in 1799 by a French soldier called Pierre Bouchard and was found in the garden of Governor's house at the French fort near Rashid, Egypt. It has continued to be a major tourist attraction ever since it was first discovered, and is still on a public display at the British Museum in London. The Parthenon marbles are one of the most important and beautiful surviving examples of ancient Greek sculpture. These magnificent sculptures were originally located on the Acropolis in Athens, but were transported to London by Thomas Bruce, the 6th Earl of Elgin in 1801, and eventually ended up display in the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. When reading Herodotus, it's often difficult to determine when he was writing what, as the Histories is an encyclopedic work comprising reports on many different cultures and events. However, there are two scrolls which provide some clues as to date of the histories. These two scrolls are known as the Sapphire and Ausonia fragments, named after the collectors who found them, and they are dated to around 450 BC. Thus, it's thought that it is the approximate date of the histories. The content of the scrolls sheds some light of Herodotus' sources for the history. The first scroll of Sapphire fragment it deals with the Battle of Marathon in 490 BC. In the passage that deals with the Battle of Herodotus gives an account of a speech made by the Athenian leader Miltiades before the fighting started. This speech is noteworthy because it is one of the examples of rhetoric to be found in ancient literature. The second scroll is the Ausonia fragment, and it gives a description of an Egyptian festival known as Opet, which was celebrated in the late summer. The festival was celebrated in honor of Egyptian god Osiris, who had recently died and who was believed to be the son of the goddess Isis. Like the Sapphire fragment, this passage also makes use of several themes which we come across in histories, such as religion and the role of the religion in society. It also mentions embalming techniques used by the Egyptian to preserve the body and deceased. Thus, it shows that Herodotus had some knowledge of Egyptian culture from first-hand sources. Something that he does not often mention in this history, these two passages provide us with some insight into how Herodotus assembled his historical narrative.